Our inspiration was really this. There was such good work being published in law reviews, then and now, by progressive scholars about the environment, about marginalized people, about health and safety. And almost none of that work was showing up in any significant way in policy debates in Washington and later in the States. And so we decided to take the leap and form a think tank, probably not even knowing what that meant or what it involved, but that it was needed.
At the moment that the Center for Progressive Reform started, I think people today want the same things. Air that they can breathe, they want water that's clean, they want parks and forests and oceans that they can play in. That's what people want. They want a climate that works, and they want a government that works. So that hasn't changed. What I think is hard, particularly in this moment when we're talking about a global climate crisis, when we're talking about extreme polarization and dysfunction in the United States government, I think when people see all of this together, they know what they want, but they don't think there's a solution.
The Center for Progressive Reform is really uniquely positioned. There aren't many organizations that are focused on creating a better relationship between the public and our institution, which is government.
We at Center for Progressive Reform are devoted to this idea that government matters. Not because government is this outside thing that solves problems for everybody, but because government is us.
The majority of the public is unaware of what happens behind those doors. And so that's a critical role for the center to be involved in helping to bridge that distance between the public and public institutions.
Our expertise at the Center for Progressive Reform is trying to break apart these seemingly intractable problems. We now have a super talented professional staff. There's a whole battery pack attached to that, and it's the member scholars.
These scholars are working in the areas of environmental protection, natural resources, worker protection. All of that is connected with the protection of marginalized communities.
Everything we do is informed by our concern for communities that historically have been underserved or overburdened in some way.
I think the most critical issues that we have today are related to responding to the climate crisis and how we do that in a way that is equitable and just.
It's no longer just an environmental problem. It's no longer just a civil rights problem or a wealth inequality problem or an energy problem. It is a problem that is related to all of those things.
What we've done well is to really use our scholarship, use our intellectual leadership, and we play this really, I think, important translation role.
What I tell community members, I work with environmental justice community groups in Louisiana and elsewhere, and I tell them, if you had 60 of the best lawyers, public interest lawyers in the United States on tap right now who could give you answers to particular questions or ideas about how to approach something for free, what would you ask them? And they say, geez, I mean, I never even thought of that because it's so impossible that would ever be true. And I say, because of the Center for Progressive Reform, it is true.
I'm really excited about our climate justice work. I am in the renewable energy field. I am excited about the transition in our energy sector away from fossil fuels and to expand the benefits from decarbonization to people, low-income people, to people who have not been able to participate in our economy fully. And I think this is an opportunity to be able to do that. And so bringing the assets of the center to the conversation about how we transition is really what excites me. I think we're at a really interesting pivot point in general. It just feels to me like this is sort of the moment, a real moment, and that the Center for Progressive Reform is going to be an important part of shaping the direction of our future, whether it's at the state level or beyond that.